Bijuka, the Scarecrow. This is a story about a 9-year-old boy named Rajesh who lived in a village with his father. His mother, who was his best friend, had passed away from an illness a few years ago, leaving him feeling very lonely ever since. He didn't have many friends at school either, and because of his short stature, the other kids in his class constantly teased him. But that night, Rajesh's life changed forever. That day, the children in Rajesh's class teased him so much that he got into a fight with one of them, causing all kids to chase him to beat him up. The school kids were chasing him everywhere, forcing Rajesh to take a path of regret to escape from them. Rajesh went on that path, but he didn't know that who was waiting for him in the midst of that regret. He was walking slowly, but then he encountered a scarecrow whose head was a pot with a drawn face and white, and whose entire body was made up of straws and with two eyes shining in the moonlight as if staring at him. Seeing that scarecrow there, Rajesh realized that he had entered the field where no one was ever went, because the entire village knew that going into that field meant risking one's life. To the scarecrow, he stood there watching the scarecrow when the boys chasing him arrived and surrounded him from all sides. Terrified, Rajesh remembered his fate. What would be his fate if they caught him? So he closed his eyes and braced himself for the beating before conceding defeat and getting bitten by the boys. But just as he stood there trembling, he heard the sounds of something being beaten and the boys from the school falling onto the ground with deep cuts on their hand. After this incident, everyone ran away, leaving Rajesh lying on the ground. Rajesh ran away after that day, and while he was walking, he was thinking about that incident. Then he lay down on his bed and he was still thinking about that incident. That what actually happened? Why didn't the scarecrow hurt him but all the guys? It was a spooky night for him. When he was trying to sleep, he saw the same scarecrow out of the window. And with his hands, he touched Rajesh, and like he was trying to pick him up and just take him where he wants to. You guys cannot imagine what happened after that, because he pondered this, that he noticed a small child figure moving towards the field who was playing with his ball and heading towards the same field. Due to the low class, some taller figures emerged to beat the child with sticks and to hide his murder, made that scarecrow out of his body. Seeing all this, Rajesh understood that the scarecrow was also just like him, perhaps wanting to be his friend. Upon learning their story, Rajesh and Scarecrow became close friends. However, the previous incidents involving the children in the village led the Rajesh's father, who was a priest, to be called upon to purify the souls of those children, because everyone believed that the scarecrow would go after their children harmed them. On the other hand, Rajesh and the scarecrow were the best friends ever. Rajesh spent most time with the scarecrow, where the scarecrow showed Rajesh right way to play with his powers, and Rajesh brought new clothes and toys for him. After a few days, when it was Rajesh's birthday, the kids in the class started fighting with them again. The fight escalated to the point where them began teasing Rajesh about his mother, which made Rajesh too angry when he punched the boy in the head with a nearby duster and ran away. Rajesh ran behind the school, after which something happened that shook the entire village up. That night, the Scarecrow tore their chests up and they were killed after the children's death. After the children's death, the villagers decided to burn the Scarecrow. All the villagers were looking for that Scarecrow in a fright, but they couldn't find it anywhere. That night, that on the other hand, Rajesh's father couldn't find Rajesh. So, in his sorrow over not finding Rajesh, he went to his late wife's favorite place and started crying. He he spent most of the time there. But then a miracle happened, which shook Rajesh's father up. While he was crying, he saw Rajesh coming with the Scarecrow coming from the front. He could not understand what to do. So he just stood up, and in order to protect his son, Rajesh's father tried to burn the Scarecrow with the torch he had in his hand. But the plan flopped, and the Scarecrow grabbed Rajesh's father with its straw-filled hands. It was about to kill Rajesh's father when Rajesh intervened and pleaded him with it not to kill him. But then it was too late, and Rajesh picked up the torch and killed his dear friend the Scarecrow in order to save his father. However, by the time he did this, his father's breathing had already stopped and he had died. This story showed that Rajesh ended up killing both his father, who is a blood relation, and his dear friend, the Scarecrow. For more videos, like, subscribe, and share. And thanks for watching.